Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's 5:30. This meeting is now in session. Could everybody please rise, please? Vicki, could you lead us in a moment of silence, please? Also like to add a moment of silence for the recent passing of former Governor Ann Richards and the father of former Senator Eddie Lucio. Thank you. Mr. Herrera, could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, sir?
Sure will. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. I'd like to just add, if everybody can turn off their cell phones while we conduct the meeting, please. Okay, Ms. Emard.
Okay. Item number 2 is the public audience. We have some lists here of people who would like to address the board. Just like to remind everybody that please hold your comments to 5 minutes, and the total session should last no more than 30 minutes. The first person that we have to speak is Mr. Francisco Cifuentes on item number 4.
Good afternoon, President of the Board, board members, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Francisco Cifuentes. There are some dark clouds hanging over Brownsville, and not only the ones that are creating the rain, there are some very dark clouds raining all over this port. We came before you, and the whole community came before you and asked you the last meeting, to listen to us. You are our representatives, and yet we told you our feelings.
Has the qualifications to lead us into the next...
Sir, may I finish?
Yes, sir.
She does not have a minimum of 10 years of increasingly responsible executive and administrative experience in a port operation,
Okay.
at least 7 of which at an executive level. She does not reside within the port district. Now, this is nothing personal against her, but it's she that's being nominated here for this position, and we have to look at how the nominee stacks up with the requirements. Those are 3 notable examples where she doesn't have the requirements of the position. What kind of a message are we sending in this community that somebody who doesn't meet the requirements of a position can be appointed port director of a public port?
What really overshadows, and you're failing to realize, Mr. Zavaleta, is that she has the requirements, and she's going to take us there until we get somebody that's going to have the qualifications.
I respectfully differ, sir. The requirements are in black and white, as is her file, and she does not meet these requirements.
On the question.
Okay. We have a motion on the table to put an interim director by Commissioner De Los Santos, seconded by Commissioner Cristiano. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I am opposed.
Okay, motion carries.
And I just would like to say for the record, she never asked anybody to be interim port director, and I'm sorry that that you're put in this situation. And thank you for moving the porter forward.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Item number 5, presentation by the City of Brownsville regarding ambulance service. Mr. Kabler.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission, we appreciate you having us here. We can see you have a busy agenda. What we would like to do, with your permission, is have the fire chief give you a status report on fire station number 9, which is located within the port of Brownsville. And if you would please allow me to introduce Chief Perez.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Honorable Commissioners. You see before you on the first page, July 31st, 1996, the city and the district, which is the port, came into an agreement, a memorandum of agreement for the building of establishment of fire station number 8 here at the port. In that agreement, if you turn to page number 2, states in item number 8, it is understood and agreed to by the district and the city that they will conduct further negotiations regarding, but not limited to, maintenance and operation cost, timing and methods of payment. That's one of the reasons we're here with you all. You'll turn to page number 3. You can see that currently the city of Brownsville is paying $850,000 to man fire station number 8. Go number 4, you can see the calls we've done over the years, from 2005 to 2000. While your calls are relatively small compared to the overall, your calls are also the longest calls that we have when we respond inside the port. And you get paid. Some of the benefits that you get from us is fire protection with medical capability in all fire trucks. All our fire trucks are carrying automated external defibrillators, which shocks the heart back into rhythm in case somebody goes down. In fact, we have a documented save in the port of one of your lessees. So this has been already come in very, very handy. We provide EMS response for you all. We have a dive team available that can be utilized in the port. And all our firefighters that are, I'll take it back, almost all our firefighters that are stationed here at the port have been trained in shipboard firefighting. They go to Texas A&M. In fact, our last 2 should be going next year. So that's one of the requirements we have done to this particular station. We have a hazardous materials mitigation team available for the port. And other benefits is we can help assist the port with fire prevention and arson. We have a training room that's made available to all the lessees of the port. And we have a rope rescue capabilities. Some of the major calls that we've made here at the port have been star detonators. We spent 2 days on that particular call. We had a ship fire at the shrimp basin that took us two and a half days to extinguish. We've had a rescue call at the grain elevator, another rescue call with a down crane, and we had a hazard materials incident at 1005 Anchor Drive. If you look almost to the land where it says fire station funding needs, our current pumper will be 10 years old and needs to be replaced. Also, we need extra personnel to man an ambulance in this area. The extra ambulance will cost $450,000 in personnel costs. That's with benefits. $100,000 for the ambulance itself, and $100,000 for maintenance costs. That is the cost that the city will bear if we just take it on by ourselves. And we are asking for your help in this area. If you look to where it says Insurance Services Office, I made a phone call over to them and asked them if you all were taking full advantage of our memorandum of agreement. They advised me that currently you hold a 910 rating, which is real high for your insurance ratings. You may explore the possibility of using the memorandum agreement to be able to lower it maybe down to our classification, which may save you up to 44% on your premiums, in case you didn't know that. So that may be another benefit that we're having us be in service. Will provide another service for your lessees. Now I'll turn everything else over to Mr. Kaplan. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Do you have any questions for me, by the way?
Thank you, Lynn.
Okay, thank you, sir.
We appreciate, again, us being here, and we'd like to say that the fire station is running well, but with the growth since its opening in 1997 has really tripled or more with the opening of the Rivera High School and the surrounding businesses, restaurants, etc. And with the growth of the port, we need to upgrade that fire station and offer maybe you can assign someone to us that would look at the issue of maintenance and operation cost, because we really do need to enhance it as far as ambulance services and additional staff as far as firemen and equipment. So and we feel that we were obligated to give you a status report, and I'm sure this doesn't happen often, but we think we need to come to you, let you know what's going on at the fire station. It is your fire station, and The property was donated by the port in 1997 when the fire station was open. So we appreciate your consideration to this.
Thank you, Mr. Cadwell. I know that, I believe it was last month when we briefly met with you at your office.
Yes, sir.
You discussed these issues with us, and we're certainly in a position at least to open dialogue with you and see what direction we want to go with that. And I invite you to come back and give us the information that we really need to go forward with this, and we'll take it from there.
We appreciate that, Mr. Chairman, and members of the commission.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Cadwell.
Item number 6, presentation by the City of Brownsville regarding the city's future need for landfill cover purchased from the district.
And I have our David Ivory, who is our director of our Public Works Department, sir. And this is an issue in relation to, of course, we purchased the landfill property from the port in 2001, I believe, September 2001. Again, it's been an operation that we're very proud of. It's running very well. Within the contract, we're obligated to buy 30,000 cubic yards of cover fill from the port. It's at $2 a cubic yard, approximately $60,000 a year worth of fill. In the last 2 years, we have purchased a total sum of $432,514 with it that we reimburse you by you bringing debris, et cetera, to our landfill and getting credit for it. Our request is that we get some kind of a relief as far as the obligation to pay the $60,000 due to the fact that we are way behind, about 5 years ahead of the schedule as far as our dirt purchase from you, until we narrow the gap as far as the $432,514 that we owe to the port. Or if your numbers are different, then this is the numbers that I accumulated by doing research with our director at Public Works. This is the number that we come up with. If the number is higher, that's fine. But our request is, again, that if we can be relieved of paying the $60,000 or purchasing the 30,000 cubic yards per year until we narrow the gap as far as our obligation to you in bringing debris and trash to our landfill. I hope I addressed that correctly, too.
Yes.
Mr. Cowler, just a question on the items. I'm looking at some figures, and it shows that the city, the amount of cubic yards that the city's purchasing varies. Is it varying? I would think that would be a constant number. Why? Can you explain why there's a difference? I mean, I have figures for 2001, 2002.
Well, 2001 is when the landfill first opened, so we were, that was sketchy numbers back then as far as how much fill we needed, et cetera. But we needed to assure ourselves that we did obligate ourselves to purchasing the 30,000 cubic yards that we needed to purchase from the port. Okay. And really the two numbers that I'm firming up are the last 2 years, which show that we have purchased $432,514 worth of dirt. Okay. Now, one of the things we did do is we purchased a property that surrounds the landfill, and we're using that now. So we feel that we can narrow the gap as to the amount of dirt we need to purchase from the port for a while until we reduce that number. We're concerned that number will continue to rise, and it may get to the point that we may never be able to reimburse the port. Well, we understand that there's special dirt that y'all have within the port that we probably may need in the future. For example, the clay, and of course we can work on that. But
you have found dirt at a cheaper price, correct?
Well, the property we purchased that surrounds the landfill, we feel we can utilize for a lengthy period of time, and we don't have to be moving vehicles, moving trucks, and transporting, so that drastically reduces the cost of our landfill, our landfill cost. So we want to utilize what we have within our landfill right now, and at the same time, understand that we owe you an obligation to the money that we owe you.
You know, my only little concern is being in a selfish standpoint for the port, is that we get credit based on this dirt that we sell to you all to use the landfill. And I think there's probably some negotiating area there that we can both work together and both of us come out in a very good agreement.
And certainly that we agree with that. We're not saying that we're not going to come back. We're saying that we need to narrow that number before it gets into the millions, and we're never going to be able to pay you back. So we're just trying to find a way to reduce this gap between what we have purchased. It seems like we purchased in the last 2 years more than the 30,000 cubic yards. We probably tripled that in the last few years. So our obligation has gotten to the point that we owe you a lot, and we're trying to reimburse you and narrow that gap so we can continue our business.
I'm going to suggest just to, I think you need to come back and probably meet with Debbie and probably with Donna and kind of negotiate something that we can all live with and both sides be a win-win situation.
Whatever you request, Commissioner.
It's a good observation. We certainly want to, Ms. Duke, if you can work with them on that and bring that back to us, certainly be able to entertain it again.
Well, thank you, and we appreciate your time on these two issues.
Thank you, Mr. Kabler.
Item number 7, consider an act on request from Cameron County regarding participation in the construction of the permanent Joe C. Gaiman Bahia Grande Restoration Channel per letter from County Judge Gilberto Hinojosa dated August the 28th, 2006. Hector?
Chairman, Commissioners, Mrs. Mart, good afternoon. We have a request from the county, and I'd like first to give the opportunity to a representative from the county to present to us the proposal. Then I'd like to go over some of our issues regarding this project and how we can participate.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, my name is Remy Garza, and I'm representing County Judge Gilberto Hinojosa. The restoration of the Bahia Grande has been a community-wide objective for many years. Last year, the Navigation District in Cameron County opened the pilot channel as the first step in restoring the Bahia Grande. We're here tonight to ask for your support regarding our proposal to the Coastal Impact Assistance Program and funding to establish a permanent main channel connecting the Brownsville ship channel to the Bahia Grande. The proposal submission is due on October 2nd. The Brownsville Navigation District has been a key partner in this restoration. At this point, we are seeking a general letter of support indicating your long-term interest in the restoration of the Bahia Grande and its support for the county's proposal for the Coastal Impact Assistance Program. The county is going to be requesting $2.7 million in funds to construct a main channel into the Bahia Grande, a secondary channel crossing Highway 48 at Vadia Anche into Little Laguna Madre, and an education and recreation access area along Highway 48. The funding request will also cover engineering and permitting costs. And we are not requesting any Brownsville Navigation District funds for this project, but would work with the Brownsville Navigation District to maximize mitigation credits which might be forthcoming from its involvement in the restoration of the Bahia Grande. The Bahia Grande Channel construction would be a joint multi-year project between the Navigation District and the county. During the first year, 2007-2008, the Navigation District and the county would prepare a schedule of work and conduct necessary engineering and permitting applications. Channel construction could begin on the Vadia Anche channel as early as summer of 2007. It's likely that the main channel construction would not begin until 2008. There are several benefits that we see coming out of this partnership. The pilot channel has helped reduce dust impacting driving conditions on Highway 48 and the communities along Highway 100, but has not provided enough tidal exchange to restore the Bahia Grande's estuarine functions as a breeding area and nursery habitat for shrimp, fish, and migratory waterfowl. Also, if in your packets, I believe there's a PowerPoint presentation if there's any other areas that you'd like to look at for that. Finally, I'd like to point out the high public profile and interest to this project. To date, the work we've done has attracted 60 public and private partnerships, including Cameron County, TxDOT, several federal agencies, local municipalities of South Padre Island, Port Isabel, Laguna Vista, private landowners such as the Uturias and the Garcia families, the Brownsville Port Isabel Shrimp Association, CCA of Texas, the University of Texas Brownsville TSC, Ocean Trust, and other volunteers. TxDOT has already committed $3 million in support of highway improvements at the main channel and the Bahia Ancha channel, and the overall partnership has been recognized at the 2005 White House Conference on Cooperative Conservation and was awarded the Department of Interior's Cooperative Conservation Award earlier this year. We look forward to working with the Navigation District on this very successful partnership. Today, joining me are Mari Galvan, representing Commissioner David Garza, Precinct 3, Mr. Joe Vega, he's Assistant Parks Director, Mr. John D. Wallace with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and Mary Jane Shands with the University of Texas at Brownsville, and we stand ready to answer any questions you may have regarding this project.
Romy, is there a grant, did the state do a grant for the county for this project?
The project we're currently applying for, or the one that's currently in place?
The one currently in place right now.
There were, the county utilized the initial round of coastal impact assistance program to fund the pilot project, as well as another project that I believe we received from the empowerment zone. There were two that were combined to work towards that.
Okay, and you're stating now that the county, I mean, the navigation district's not gonna have to put any money up for this project. It's all gonna come from the grant that you're expecting?
Yeah, there are two funding sources in the coastal impact. One that is designated for the state to determine the projects, and another that's on the local level. $2.2 million of the project would be applied for the state funds, and then the other $500,000 would be requested through the local funds that are distributed. And I should mention that the project has already been nominated to the state, and it's been qualified as one of the projects that they would consider funding.
Okay, and as to the other grant, Donna, did the port incur any costs as far as that?
Yes, sir. We paid for the total the total construction cost of that, and I've given each one of you a worksheet. We submitted Mr. Gutierrez, Nino Gutierrez, worked on that project, and he submitted the billings to the county, but we have not been reimbursed as of yet.
Okay, Romy, the county is going to reimburse the port for that?
Yes, as a matter of fact, when I first found out that so much time had passed between when the project had been completed and if you drive down Highway 48, you can see that the work's been done, I was surprised. And in talking to the auditor's office, apparently it has to do with some of the new wonderful bureaucracies of the federal government and trying to expedite things. Essentially, it's an automatic deposit system. I think they call it the ASAP, and he's having trouble getting it to work the way the government intended it to work. And so when I first spoke to him about it, he said, "I'll get on it." Of course, we're in our budget cycle, and so as soon as he hit an obstacle, he would have to stop and go do something else. But he assured me this afternoon before I came out that he was going to have the money, the reimbursement processed, and that as soon as this Tuesday, the check could be cut for the Navigation District to reimburse for those expenditures.
Okay, good.
I echo those sentiment as well. If we're going to be doing any kind of partnering with any entity, is that, you know, we make sure that we're on the same page with monies owed to anybody.
Yes.
Any comments?
And now let me enter a little bit into some other details regarding the ramifications of this project to other projects that we are currently working on the port. There's no doubt that it is a very important project from environmental restoration. I believe it's in reflection and in line with our environmental stewardship. However, this project has other ramifications in regards to our port deepening project. Back in 2003 on some appropriation bill, we can bank and mitigate points that can be acquired from the development of these projects to our port deepening project. Our port deepening project is going to be based on what is called a benefit-cost ratio. That all certain percentage of the environmental, typically in conversations with some consultants and other members of the Corps of Engineers, you can apply about 10% total to the benefits. The remaining benefits have to come from the economics of vessels and tonnage and work developments and other non-environmental impacts. The cost portion of this project, if it is part of the overall development, will go into that equation. Having said that, also, it has to do with our deepening area. As part of, we own the land and we need to enter into an agreement. So there are certain aspects that we need to work with the county to make this project feasible. In regards to the land development, we would like, or at least my recommendation would be, that we control and maintain that channel. Now, having said this, grant funds applicable towards the CIAP, which are the CIAP funds, as per the Corps of Engineers, would not give us banking points towards our port deepening project. It has to be monies that came from the port. If we, obviously, some of the participation that we can put into it include the real estate and any other engineering that we may conduct in-house, or perhaps some of the construction, if we can participate with that. As Remy mentioned, the estimated construction project, they're asking for $2.7 million. For this particular main channel, we're looking at $1.9 million. The acreage of the land, it's approximately 10 to 11 acres, basically 220 feet wide, 220 feet wide, about 2,200 feet long. If I just dare guess a real estate value, let's say around $15,000 for that, plus some of our participation, I can see that we can try to bank as many mitigation points, and it will be probably around the 15 to 20% of the total project. If we were ahead in our port deepening projects 2 years, and I have a crystal ball in here to tell you, we only need X amount to participate in the benefit cost ratio for the port deepening project, which is to me also as important as this project from the economic perspectives, then I could definitely tell you, yes, this is what we must do. Now, on the good side is that construction will not begin until probably in about 2 years, and we will have a better, clearer picture of what benefits we need to have in order to ensure that we have a positive benefit cost ratio. Our port deepening project costs anticipated, depending on whether it's a 45, 50, or 55-foot alternative, range anywhere from $50 to $100 million. Right now, 50%, if our depth determined is 45 feet plus the overdraft, then the government will participate with 75% construction cost, and the BND will be responsible for 25. If it is beyond 45, then it will be a 50-50 share. So hope you understand where I'm coming from when I talk about ensuring that we maximize our participation in this project, but that we do not hurt our benefit cost ratio for a project that we're right now conducting. It will cost $6.7 million in feasibility studies only, and it has a lot of implications towards the future of this port. My recommendation today, what I can say, it's to grant a general letter of endorsement, and provided that we do enter into satisfactory agreements in regards to the planning and the disbursements. Obviously, as far as the financial aspects of it, we have been working with the county on smaller projects. This is a relatively large project. If we were to begin construction, it could be done, shall we say, in 6 to 9 months. And if we were to finish that construction and wait for reimbursement of $1.7 million, means that we will carry that note. I'm not sure whether that will be in our best interest, or whether we can perhaps work with the county so we can set up some sort of escrow account that we can take on a monthly basis for both of our agreements to pay for that, and then they will get reimbursed. I mean, right now, the way we've been working is that we get paid when they get paid. And for smaller projects, I don't see why not, we cannot do that. But for perhaps larger projects, considering our other needs, and I would just definitely think about that.
Can I ask just something on the anticipated shoaling that you talk about here, which says the monies be set aside to dredge the ship channel to correct anticipated shoaling? I know that, you know, oftentimes we've had problems getting monies to dredge our channel, and the addition that we're going to do in this to allocate water into the Bahia Grande, what kind of monies are we looking at to update that and continually dredge it like we do the channel in terms of costs, you know, and who's going to be footing that bill?
Exactly. Well, it's question The answer to your first question is it will be a similar shoaling, probably, I would say, that we experience from the boat ramp area. Right now, to maintain our channel, it requires about $8 to $10 million on a 3-year cycle, which is from the Corps of Engineers. We have not had any major dredging as of lately. Based on our current conversations with the Corps of Engineers and what monies have been appropriated for a channel, we are not satisfying the whole needs to maintain our channel to 42 feet. Now, with respects to this specific maintenance of the channel, if we are to get mitigation points credited toward port deepening study, then it will be a 50-year commitment in which the port will be responsible for maintaining the channel.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
There are two issues that we think we can use to address that. He mentioned the San Martin cut. Luckily, the way that was designed and the amount of water flow that goes through there, it essentially maintains itself from the San Martin cut is what I was told. And so that the representatives from Ocean Trust had indicated that we could hopefully achieve that same sort of capacity in this one as well. If not, what we could try to do is set up within the grant or from the partners, the 60 people that are participating in this, setting up an account where everybody we'd put money in annually, so that if it's necessary, then essentially setting up a little trust fund that it could use to do whatever maintenance work was necessary. But those are things that we can address. Once we get to 2.7, we can hammer out.
Let me state that we won't get mitigation points if it is federal grant money. Any other type of loans or monies from other sources that are not attached to a federal grant can be used, and we would get the benefits and bank our mitigation.
And we want to do everything we can so y'all can maximize those credits.
Okay.
Other than holding funds.
Just one. Just the last question is that cost the project to be by others. Who would be others?
I believe Nino was referring to that where the BND does not participate to that extent. There will be other sources of funding, whether are private partnerships or nonprofit organizations or other type of sources.
We've had a lot of partners involved in this project. For example, TxDOT has invested over $3 million on this project. They're building a bridge right now, according to the specifications of the. Oh, sorry. We had a lot of partners involved with this project. As you know, they're building a bridge right now according to the specifications of the permanent channel. And those specifications were done by the Port of Brownsville through a grant that was funded by Cameron County. Also, they installed additional culverts under Highway 48 for the Bahía Ancha channel. Once this Bahía Ancha channel gets built, you're going to have tidal circulation going through all the bahías, through all the basins. And also, they have committed to do a 16 parking space access area off the bridge. And the county in the future is looking into assisting and doing a nature trail, a birdwatch overlook, a kiosk, kayak, and a canoe launch area. So it's gonna, and also do other things there that would attract bird watchers and fishermen as well. But we've got a lot of partners. We have over 60 partners that have committed either in-kind services or funds to this project. So, and I'm sure we're getting more partners involved in this project as well. And of course, y'all have been a big partner in this project.
Okay.
And the grant is due on October the 2nd, so we, if all possible, we would like to see if we could get a letter, hopefully by early part of next week, so we could get it submitted with the grant. A general letter of support. Yes.
I think this is a very beautiful project.
Yes, certainly sounds like.
With respect to other projects, it's a little bit off.
Yeah.
I also had a conversation with Mr. Rick Medina, which is the Division and Environmental Planner for the Galveston District. And I mentioned to him the possibility of perhaps being able to reimburse funds to the county should we need extra mitigation points. And he said that they were open to discuss that idea.
That might be an option.
There's just certain unknowns that we need to undo.
Address.
And it all happens to be tied up to our
Just
major project.
just stay on top of that, but I'll go ahead and make a motion that we go ahead and participate in this project, and I can't not commend everybody that has worked on this project, you know, for everybody from the county, Port Isabel, U.S. Wildlife, the university. This is something that everybody needs to be very proud of our community for working together on this project, and keep the good work, and let's get paid.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Luciano and Cristiano, and seconded by Commissioner De Los Santos. All those
Chairman,
in favor?
this is just to
Yes, sir.
approve the general letter of support, right?
Absolutely, yes, sir. That is correct. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, sir.
Item number 8, a committee report on status of the BND's ordinance, rate schedule, and policy manual. Several meetings ago, the commissioners appointed a committee to oversee the policies, and the chairman asked me to give a status report. We've gotten most of the work done. We went in and reformatted all our old policies and procedures, our employee handbook, and put it into a format very similar to the school districts. They have a very good format. The chairman was nice enough to forward us the school district board policies. We have gone through, myself, Debbie, and Joe Saban have gone through and tried to get all those geared toward the port. Daniel is reviewing some of the legal policies, and that's a little more time-consuming, and he's working on that. But I'm happy to report that we've done about 90% of the work and should have this policy manual ready for you, I would say hopefully by the last meeting in October, for you to look at and review. I will say that it's going to take quite a bit of time on your part to go through all these because it was pretty challenging. But I will also note that a lot of our policies and ordinances are very outdated, and that is going to take some time from the port staff and from the board to go through those policies and try to update them. Mr. Gavito has worked with us. Hector has worked with us with the engineering. It's just a pretty big process. So just to let you know, we are still working on it, and we should have something, just a basic overview for you to look at in the next coming month.
And Donna, maybe perhaps we should schedule some workshops or something so that we can address some of
Yes.
those and
Absolutely.
not wait till towards the end. We'll just
Perfect.
start addressing those in workshops.
Yeah, it'd
get
probably
some
be
input.
better to set it up in sessions.
Maybe in
yeah.
different, for the different
Yes.
areas of the policy manual to
great.
address them each one at a time.
Right, we can do that.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
On to the next one.
Item number 9, consider an act on authorizing staff to advertise for the port director and CEO position. And Mrs. Saban is not here, but I believe, Debbie, are you?
We are ready for your instructions as to go ahead and start the search. I believe that Joe had mentioned that Monster.com was not a real good source for us. We usually use the AAPA hiring advertisement. We'll advertise locally just because it's the right thing to do. And anything else that you all would like to suggest, we'd be open for that.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
We did circulate to all the board members the job description that was prepared the last time, and just if there's any changes or additions that anyone would like to make, if you please get those back, because we do advertise. If you approve that, that's what we advertise in those publications.
Donna, I'd like to see, perhaps we can include some other publications other than the ones that are listed on here, Brownsville Herald, and the AAPA is a good one, but I'd like to see some other ones. Maybe something with a broad publication that's kind of got a broad network.
We'll do anything. We did advertise last time on Monster.com. That's, just a big.
What kind of results did we get on that? Nothing?
Very little, and the ones that came in, I mean, they just...
Actually, we got the most number of applicants through Monster.com.
I'm just going by what
Is
our
that your
personnel...
recollection, Mr. Renfro?
Our personnel manager
I
said.
think that's correct. We got the most applicants through Monster.com. They did not necessarily have the most port-specific experience, but you did get a lot of attention from Monster.com.
We'll put it back on there. That's, I'm just telling you what our personnel...
It would be.
I would put
suggested.
Monster.com back on.
Okay,
I would do it too.
Yeah.
okay.
What about the Journal of Commerce?
We looked at that last time, but it was pretty expensive. AAPA is a free publication, and that's where, you know, the industry goes. I mean, we can certainly look at it and get the rates and bring it back to you.
That would be a good idea, if we can just get the rates on there, Donna. And Brownsville Herald as well? Okay.
As a board, are we gonna put a deadline, or are we just gonna leave it open and review them as they come, or what is the board's will? Last time I believe, advertised for how long?
3 months, was it?
Was it 3 months? 2 months?
You did set a deadline, I remember. I mean,
I couldn't
I
tell
don't, I can't remember the exact...
Let's go back and check and find out.
We approved the job description on January 19th, and the application deadline was March 31st.
That's correct.
3 months
It was
then.
approximately 2 months.
Yeah.
But we did continual advertising that whole period
Yes.
in the Brownsville Herald as well, or?
I don't think it ran every day
Yeah,
during that period, but it was
just
periodic during that
Like
period.
once a week or something like, okay.
Something like that.
Okay.
But it was up on Monster.com and AAPA for
The
that
entire
period of time.
Mhm.
And I believe the resumes went directly to Daniel Renfro's office.
Yes, in a PO box.
Well,
We
actually,
set
we
I know,
set up
yeah.
the
PO box.
So
Mhm.
they went to the Navigation District PO box. It was specified in the, but it was a separate post office box.
Okay. We'll do the same thing?
I so move, Mr. Chairman.
Using the current job description.
Yes.
Yes.
Should we put a deadline for the applications? What we could do differently this time is we can actually say that we are gonna start reviewing applications at a certain date without putting a deadline on when people can send their applications. That was one situation we ran across last time, which some people wanted to send resumes, but we had already put a deadline. Just a thought.
What we
Because when
can
they
say-
advertise, they have to say when, when the deadline is.
We can say this is when the review is going to begin and the job's open until it's filled.
Considering the holidays that are coming up around, I don't know where that's going to put us.
Well, I think, given that we're already almost in October, and it's a 2-month window there, why not just say all applications must be received before December 31st of 2006 in order to be considered? I mean, that's just an easy dividing line there.
I agree. I think you should set a deadline, because if you don't set a deadline, theoretically, you could announce a list of
Continually
semifinalists.
over and over.
And you'd still
Someone
be
sees the
receiving.
list and then sends you a resume.
Yeah, agreed.
And that would not be fair.
No.
December 31st.
December 31st would be.
Yeah.
We have a motion by Commissioner De Los Santos, seconded by Commissioner Cristiano. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion
And
carries.
just for clarification, Mr. Chairman, the motion was also to advertise using the current job description.
Yes, sir.
Unchanged.
Y'all vote already?
Okay, yes.
Item number 10, consider and act on using ProMile Software Development Corp. to develop and host the overweight permit online.
Joe Saban and I believe Tony, have been talking to TxDOT. They are putting their permit process online. They have already put a new permit that they have. It's a new overweight corridor in Chambers County. It's online, and they have asked that we participate with them and get our overweight permit online. It started out a very strong suggestion. I understand they've now given us 3 to 6 months to make this happen. We have had 2 meetings with our truck lines. The first one didn't go well. The second one, they thought about it. They got a real good demonstration on the software, and they like it. It will make TxDOT a lot more comfortable with the situation that we have, because We're generating a lot of money for TxDOT, and most of our controls on it are manual. They had not audited us since the program started in 2001. We got an audit last year. Our audit was clean, but they noted that there were a lot of places where we could have problems. So they're a little uncomfortable with having all this money essentially in our hands with nobody looking over our shoulder. The advantages that we would get from the port is that the reporting to TxDOT would be handled by a third party. They would handle credit card transactions. They would handle an escrow account. There would be a lot more methods of payment available to our customers. And all of that would be handled by someone who's already bonded with the state. They've selected him. They've helped him develop the software. We would still be able to issue permits here in the office. They'd be online, but the truck lines, our mom and pops, could still walk in and purchase a permit with cash. The purpose of all of this is to get online access to the auditors at TxDOT with our permit and the axle weights. And they would ask our scales to call up the permit online and key in the axle weights. And then they would immediately have their audit trail. And it would be tied to the money going into the account. So they're very happy. They designed this situation. The software does a check of the status of the truck line with the state, if they're current with the registration, if their insurance is current. They will check the axle weights. If the axle weights are wrong, they immediately know they need to go back and reload. DPS will have access to the permit situation from their cars. So it gives everyone a little bit more access and a little bit more oversight into what we're doing here. This company that is doing this is a sole source. They are the only one that is authorized by TxDOT to have access to the TxDOT records and DPS records. And what we're asking for authorization tonight is for us to go ahead and go forward to get a proposal from this company to come in and set us up.
Debbie, are they requiring us to do this program, basically?
They are basically requiring us.
All right, and do we have any idea what the cost is going to be?
There will be no upfront cost for the district. They would be reimbursed back on a per permit basis. In Chambers County, they have approximately 15,000 permits per year, and their cost is about $2.50 per permit. We do more than that.
But it comes out of our share.
It would come out of our
share.
$4. We get $4.50 per permit right now, and it would come out of that.
Out of our share. Okay, so we don't really have to put out any money. It'll come out of that.
It'll come out of that.
Okay.
Do we have to, we have to pay, or does the port have to pay an amount for like the software package
No.
aside from this?
No, there would be no
Okay.
costs other than his per permit cost. He's telling us his upfront costs are about $25,000 to develop the software, and over the course of the first few years, he'll get that back. And he's willing to go into this on this basis.
So moved.
Question,
From the truck loading standpoint or the truck scale standpoint, from the truck loading or the truck scale standpoint, are we going to have to buy this guy's software?
No,
So
it's internet-based, and you'll get an access code.
So
You'd have to have
if you
internet
don't have
access.
internet access,
Are you doing your own scale?
yes.
That's one of the little things we're going to have to work out. One of our scales, our public scales, have already indicated that they would participate with this. Yes, sir.
Mr. Woodfin?
Since this affects how we load cargo at the docks and all, I would like to request some type of workshop with
Certainly.
this program to be explained to us and the scales that we work with, because this has ramifications on our efficiencies in dealing with our customers.
Certainly. One of the things that we've noticed, anyone can go to any internet access if they have the access code and print their permit. And so it's not just here, it's not just in their office. Brokers could start doing it for the trucks at the bridge. There are quite a few new things that we could start doing, and we like it.
we're doing
But-
enforcement for the BPS when we go back, and you're going to have requiring the scales to do double work, is one of the points I see here. And one of the other points is you're going to be requiring the stevedoring companies loading the truck to do double work if that trucker has told us to place a coil in the wrong position of his axle. So there's some things here.
My understanding right now is that the axle weights are,
They look like it's 2 TMI, that's why
Yeah.
I requested the workshop.
I don't know,
Well, the operation itself doesn't change. Mike. Everything stays the same. The only thing is now, the overweight permit now is online. You have the option to buy the overweight permit online. Nothing changes. It's basically with.
What Debbie says is that this is going to be a requirement. They're
That's
basically.
what it's telling
but
us.
you can still come in and
You
buy
still can buy
permits here.
drugs.
But we have to go back and do the axle weights, you know, I'm talking about the nuts and bolts. I'm not talking about printing the permit. That's great.
This would not be an
But I'd
additional
say,
weight?
I don't think we need to waste the board's time tonight discussing this. We need to get into a workshop.
This gentleman will be coming down and talk to us if you all give us enough authorization. If you'd like to, we can set up, he's been down here twice, he would certainly come down again and set up a workshop.
We'd certainly welcome having a workshop and get these
Well,
ironed out.
he needs to have some input from some of the folks that are working
Absolutely.
out there so that when he's designing this program for us, he has those
accommodated.
things in mind.
Basically, what we're asking for is just this Pro Mouse is gonna do our permit designed to our needs, and then this is basically just you give us authority to go out there, and so this guy could go out there and do the permit according to the law that we have with the overweight permit.
I'm not sure that Debbie asked for that much authority. What Debbie asked was for the authority to receive a proposal. from the
That's
program.
correct.
Right.
That's correct.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
And we would come back to you with the proposal.
that's
We do
right.
not intend to purchase this.
And do a workshop in between.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what we intended to ask for.
All right.
We did do, just for the record, we did, Tony and Joe Saban held a couple of different ones with the truck drivers. They met with the scales, so they did already have 2, just for the record.
I would invite everybody that would get,
No problem.
that would have to
Everybody
buy,
else.
everybody that's ever bought one should get invited so they can have their say.
No problem.
Certainly.
All right, we have a
Second.
motion.
We have
Second.
a motion by Commissioner De Los Santos, seconded by Cristiano. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number 11, consider and take action to declare the following fishing vessels surplus to the district's needs and to order the salvage auction team to dispose of them through demolition. A, fishing vessel Gina, official number 598963. Do all of them?
Yes, do all of them.
B, fishing vessel Captain Gordon, official number 575212. And item C, fishing vessel Hope, official number 527372.
We have currently 3 vessels in the fleeting area. The titles have been turned over to the district. We are in the process of advertising to the lien holders. I believe the 22nd is their deadline to respond to me, and we're ready to salvage these. We would ask permission to go ahead and we had an arrangement with Zimco on a couple of vessels that we did before. We're getting some small monies back from that. We would ask that he could come and pull equipment that he thinks he can sell from there, and the rest of it would be demolished.
So moved.
Okay. Just had a question, Ms. Seymour. Does the district get money from the demolishing when they get all the salvage, or how does that work?
Sometimes. The scrap metal, the fuel tanks are usually something we can sell for scrap.
When they leave the parts.
If they leave the parts. The shafts, the propellers, there are certain parts that are valuable. And we do have, Zimco Marine has come and pulled some things off, and they're selling those for us, and we get a percentage of the sale off of that as well.
Okay. Sir, you had a comment?
Yes.
Price, please?
Yes, Richard Jarris, Esco Marine.
Jarris.
Do you put out a public bid or just negotiate?
We just Joe's crews scrap it, and then he calls and gets prices on the scrap.
We might be offering money to give money back if they don't take off the goodies. Port may get more money if you put it out in a bid. We're in the scrap business.
These are wood hulls.
Wooden hull
Wood
vessels.
hull.
I'm sorry. The ones I was looking at were steel.
No, these
Yeah,
are,
these
these
are
are
wooden
wood.
hull, yeah.
These are wood hulls.
Okay.
Yeah, we know the steel
I
hulls.
apologize.
We don't get those.
All right. I saw several steel ones go, and we've never notified them.
Okay, we had one steel hull, I think, and everything else has been wooden.
Excuse me.
So,
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Okay.
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number 12, consider and take action to declare the improvements at the ex-border shipyard's lease site surplus to the district's needs and to order the salvage auction team to dispose of them.
we've been looking at this site for a long time and wondering what we're going to do with it. We had some interest from a group of individuals in possibly bringing this back as a shipyard. We did meet one of the representatives out there, and things are pretty much farther gone than he had anticipated. We put some pictures in your backup. The buildings are in very poor condition. Some of the roofs are already in, some of the walls are already down. What we are asking for authorization to do is to advertise for demolition of this site. There's a lot of heavy machinery out there. There's possibly some value that some of our salvage people might be interested in. That would be our first step in this, to see if someone is interested in coming in and just scrapping out the whole site.
Said, however, the scrap value may not cover the demolition cost. Do we have?
We may get a negative bid. We may get a bid that they'll tell us how much they would charge us. We're prepared to see that, but we'd come back to the board with whatever bids we get.
Is there also a tractor on that?
There's tractors, there's generators, there's a payloader out there, there's a pickup truck, there's all kinds of things.
Quite a bit of stuff out there, so we might.
And there's some things that Hector needs to pay attention to before we get a salvage company in there.
Yeah.
That we want those remediated
There's
first.
stuff, courts might be able to use also.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number 13, consider and act on the following leases. Number 1, Allied Mineral Products, Inc., first refusal.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I need to table this item.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number 2, National Seafoods, Inc., new lease.
The board approved of a new lease last board meeting to Marine Salvage and Service. Then I received a notice from their attorney that the name should have been National Seafoods, Inc., with a sublease to Marine Salvage and Service, Inc. Therefore, we have changed the name of this lease, and it is now ready for the board's consideration in the new name. And asking the board to consent to a sublease to Marine Salvage and Service, Inc.
These are both entities owned by the same person, so we can, it's just a matter of this corporate structure.
Make a motion. Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number 3, Trinity Scrap Processors, Inc., doing business as Porter Brownsville Recycling, new lease.
This new lease to be effective October the 21st for 5 years with 2 renewal options of 5 years. This is for the purpose of recycling and receiving center. There was just one issue that came up today of there are some silos on this piece of property that are going to be reduced from the property, and at a later date, we're going to either bid it out. The lessee has requested a 90-day for us to remove those silos, and we had, Ms. Seymour and I were discussing that prior to the board meeting, that we didn't know we would be able to remove the silos in 90 days, and that would put us in violation of our agreement. So with that, that was our only concern on this lease, the new lease to Trinity.
If we have a concern on time, I think we need to take all the time that we need. If that's going to be a problem,
Yeah, Roy, that is. Excuse me, Joe. I could. I represent Trinity, as most of you know. The problem, Roy, is that number one, in order to have a scrapyard, they got to fence it. That's also in the lease. The problem, the
spur, the rail spur, runs between the silos. It precludes and prevents the effective use of the rail spur until such times the silos are moved, because you can't put about 2 cars on the rail spur until such times the silos are out of there. For a scrap business, you've got to have access to the rail spur. If Trinity were to have a 5 or a 6 car load or order and had to get 6 cars in there, they couldn't put but 2. Nancy Gaitan estimates that you could put 2 cars in there, as it is right now. You load those 2 cars, what do you do with them? You got to go get an engine to move them. And then where are they going to go? They're going to go on the main line, then you block the main line until you move another 2 in and put those, and then you got to go get the switch engine and move those. And by the time you get finished, you've paid 3 times for the switch engine, and all the profit is gone at that point. So yeah, there is some urgency in getting those silos out of there. If the district will go ahead and bid them, my client is in the scrap business. And if you don't get another bid for the silos themselves in toto, you're going to have at least 1 bid from my client for the scrap value. So 90 days is a reasonable period of time to be getting those things out of there. Plus, it's a reasonable period of time for them to build up a surplus so that they can then use the rail.
How long will it take us to bid this out if we need to?
We have to advertise, so I mean, we have to do, it just.
So that's going to take us some time there also.
Plus, we have to come back to the board and ask for the authority to advertise, and then take the bids, and, I mean, it's tight.
Yeah. I just don't want to get down to the 90 days and then we're going to be.
Okay, Roy, nobody's going to be yelling about a breach of contract. If you guys need 120 days, so, let's talk about it now.
Absolutely.
But signing a contract that says all these silos are going to be moved sometime in the near future, I can see myself a year from now coming to you and say, why are those silos still there, guys? And I don't want to have to do that. If you need 120 days, let's put an interlineation in the contract. That's okay.
Just like to add that there's also a stipulation that you added to the contract that we were not charging you for those rails until such time that the silos were moved. So I don't want anybody to think that, I mean, we're not charging them for the rail spurs.
But you can't be in the scrap business without a rail spur. The fact that my client would rather pay for the rail spur and have the spur than not have the spur and not get charged for it. I mean, that's a tool.
How much, if we would scrap the silos, how much would?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Nancy,
I don't know.
Maybe Nancy's got she's in the business, she might know.
If you were to scrap them, we have no idea, but our intention was for somebody to buy them and, resell them, and the port make money, on them. And if we can find a customer, we are more than willing to help find a customer to buy them and maybe reuse them somewhere. But if not, then we do have to cut them up.
Could we remove them from there?
Could we, the port?
Yes.
I don't think in 90 days we can.
I mean,
that's what I don't want to tie the port down in 90 days.
There's 2 silos, right?
No, just
3.
3, I think.
Just to go in there, if we could remove them and move them somewhere else. So we don't actually scrap them and we can advertise them and we try and be flexible here.
I believe that we probably could hire somebody to do that. I don't believe that I just have to check with Hector and Joe Garza, but I don't believe that we have the expertise to remove those.
I would think someone who was going to buy
them
to move them would need to see how they're set up before he buys them and then takes them.
Greg and Mike, do y'all have an idea what that stuff is worth there?
Not without looking at it.
I've talked to 2 guys about, that are in the business of buying tanks and moving them south, and they've said they've got no interest in buying those particular tanks because of the age on them. Okay. That's 1980.
Slow movement.
You still don't, you don't have a
cost effective.
just from the era of cost of what you think.
Tom, you're ready to occupy and pay rent as early as October 1? I think that's the perspective that we need to adopt here.
Yeah, they're all going.
is instead of throwing good money after bad, we should look at it from the standpoint of revenues for the port. I mean, we've got a willing tenant. We've got a tenant that's ready to occupy and pay rentals at $10,700 per year beginning October 1 of this year. We can figure it out. We can figure out, once we give them the lease, we can figure out what to do with this that's cost beneficial for both parties. But let's not be in a position where we're putting up red tape to somebody making money at this port. I mean, that's really the position that we're in right now.
That's right. And
I think we should cut right through it and just get a lease done.
Trinity's been trying to get something done to alleviate their problem for now a year. But September 2 of last year.
And I think this board has been trying also to get something done.
Why don't we approve the lease with the provision that within 120 days, a solution beneficial and agreeable to both parties is reached?
I don't know, is that enough time, Debbie? Donna?
You think 120 days would be sufficient?
And you don't have to take all of them, you just...
Right.
As soon as possible, but, you know, if y'all think 90 is squeezing it too close, let's do 120, make an interlineation in the lease. I'm sure Ms. Gaitan's agreeable to that. If we have a problem, God only knows, nobody wants this resolved more than my client and myself. This has been going on way too long. Let's just make it happen.
Exactly.
Seymour, you had a comment?
Well, with signing this, does that make all the other matters that we had go away?
No.
So the board, you know.
And the board was informed of that when they approved the negotiation. This is an independent standalone deal. And you need to understand that.
They're paying full market price.
They're paying full market price.
But we still have a lawsuit.
We still have a lawsuit.
And nobody wants to resolve that more than my client and myself. We've tried it over and over and over and over, and I think maybe we can get some. My client's got to get started again making a living.
Exactly.
I think I got a question for Daniel for executive session on this before I vote on this.
Well, I make a motion that we approve the lease beginning October 1st with a provision that the silo situation will be resolved within 120 days to both parties' satisfaction.
Thank you.
Is that good enough timeline for us? I mean, I'm just concerned with 120 days.
Especially if Nancy's going to bid on it.
Right.
Okay. Gentlemen,
I'd still like to talk to Daniel.
do you want to table it? We can table this and come back and talk in the executive session. Yes.
Peter's got the motion.
Yeah, no, I don't want to withdraw it. I'd like to get this deal done.
Yeah, can I talk?
Yes.
I really am in a need to resolve this matter. My business is basically done. We've tried to help, we've tried very many other alternatives. And basically, you know, I don't get any customers. This is just a receiving facility that we're trying to open. We've been here for 3 years, and I really would like to get this resolved. My business has been hurt because of the old Highway 48 being closed and the new government rules and regulations. So I really would, you know, please ask the board to consider and try to resolve this today.
Essentially, Trinity Scrap has been in a liquidating position for a year now. It has no one can get into Trinity the way they are to sell them scrap. And they've liquidated everything, just about everything that's liquidatable out there. And all they're trying to do is get back into business.
Will you be able to work within the 120-day period, Ms. Gaitan? At least try to get, you know, on the new lease that you would have?
Most definitely. I mean, we're going to have to invest money into it by putting up a fence and, you know, this is going to be a receiving facility so that our clients, our peddlers, or people don't have to come through the main gate and get all that. You know, a lot of people that were coming in are not being able to come in anymore. So I think that would alleviate us, you know, immediately opening up, and there's a scale and there's an office, and I think that would help me.
I'm just to be honest with you, I think we're going to cut through the chase and work this out right now. But out of just plain simple courtesy, I think we need to table it just to let Los Santos ask the legal question that he probably has to ask. and then do it right after executive session.
Yeah, I'll be glad. I just need to ask Daniel a question and then we can take it up.
You're suggesting a tabling
Just
for momentary.
Right.
Oh, yeah, just
Just right
momentarily.
now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It'll be resolved today.
Be resolved. Okay. Motion to table.
Peter's got a
Peter?
motion on it.
Well, we're waiting for a second on that motion, which you will either get or not get.
Okay.
I'd like to talk to Dan before we vote on it. I just have some questions to you about the legal aspect
All
of
right,
it.
we'll do that. I just don't want this to be used as a stalling tactic to keep these people from making money.
Do we
Motion
have a
to table.
second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number 14, consider and take action on assignments, negotiations, easements, subleases, and contracts in general. Item number 1, Leela Mae Milford Trust Authority to negotiate.
The current lease expires October the 4th with no renewal options, and they're asking for a new lease. So I'm asking the board to give me authority to negotiate a new lease with this company.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number 2, Chapa Shrimp Trawlers, Inc., Authority to negotiate.
The board at the last meeting terminated this contract. Since then, Mr. Chapa has, today, we received a cashier's check that brought him current, and he's asking for, to reinstate his lease.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item number 15, adjourn into executive session.
Now 7:15, adjourned to executive session.